Alright, Schlockmeister fans, gonna finally get around to this one. Kudos to my pal Mark down in Georgia for sending me this. It's from the Lucio Fulci collection. We're gonna watch The Beyond, otherwise known as 7 Doors of Death. Let's check it out. Our movie starts out in Louisiana, 1927, at a hotel called the 7 Doors. And as you saw, we have a bunch of men with torches in a boat. That can't be good news for somebody. A book, the Iban.
In this book are collected all the prophecies of Aban, handed down from generation to generation, over more than 4,000 years.
You ungodly warlock!
That's a painter named Schweik.
In this town, cursed forever.
The 7 dreaded gateways are concealed in 7 cursed places.
They beat the guy, then they decide to crucify him. Poor fella. They're not done with him either. They also toss acid at him. Not the hallucinogenic. Fast forward 54 years, this woman has inherited the hotel.
Would it be such a pity not to? Let me at least finish the plan.
No, forget it.
I won't even charge you for it.
Look, really, it's not the case. I just want to clean up the outside walls a bit and maybe tidy up inside, and then, well, business starts booming. We'll see.
The painter sees something. So she hires a plumber named Joe, yes, Joe the plumber, to do a few things around the house too. Seems to be a lake of water in the basement here. Joe meets his demise here in brutal fashion. Eliza meets a mysterious blind woman on the side of the road. Those eyes don't look right. Her name is Emily.
You are Liza, aren't you? Yes. My name is Emily.
I believe that's Joe the plumber. He's looked better. I don't know if he's dying or if he's a zombie now or what, but I think he's dying.
Just take my word for it.
Emily gives her a warning.
Go back to where you came from and hurry. Leave this place.
So a brief clip of the morgue there, and this is the morgue where Joe the plumber was taken, and that's his daughter. I guess mom and daughter can't identify the body, and she gets attacked by this red goo. And later on at the funeral, girl, I think her name is Lisa. Jill is her name, and she's turned into a ghoul. Emily tells the story of the painter Schweik.
Had found a key. What key? The 7 gateways to hell. This house was constructed. He's returned, Liza. Don't ever enter that room.
Now look, Emily. I've lived in New York all my life, and if
She
it's
thinks
one
Schweik
thing
has
I've learned not
returned.
to believe in, it's ghosts. I was lucky to inherit this hotel.
Of course, she goes in the room and sees Schweik, the crucified version of him. Of course, when the man comes to investigate, there's nothing there. Yet those spikes have been in the walls for over 50 years.
Girl, but listen,
He
your
tries to tell her that
husband
she's
Christmas.
imagining everything, including Emily.
There's no blinder living there, and I know everyone around here.
This guy goes to the library to find the original blueprints for the hotel. And takes a spill. and paralyzes himself. But he's not dead. Not yet. Yes, a bunch of tarantulas decide to come out in the library and attack the guy while he's paralyzed and feast on him while he's alive. That's awful. Joe the plumber is back. He's in this woman's bathtub. And he's a zombie now. He promptly impales her skull. And there goes her eye. That's pretty damn cool, actually.
I don't want to go back.
Apparently Emily is some sort of zombie too, and all the other zombies are saying you gotta come back. Can't live here.
I don't want to go back. Stop tormenting me. Don't get any closer. Don't come any closer. Attack!
So she sends her dog Dickie to attack the zombies. Which Dickie does. Dickie's not done. Now he goes after her.
This hotel is one of the 7 gateways of hell.
So they flee the hotel, but notice there's a lot of shadows walking around in that hotel after they leave. Kind of a cool scene. So they go to the hospital. They don't find anybody around anywhere until these guys show up. Everybody is zombies. The zombies get brutalized too. Actually, that's not a zombie. Not yet, anyway. So now they're still fleeing for their lives inside the hospital. Zombies everywhere. They flee down some stairs at the hospital and end up in a very familiar place.
We're into the hotel.
And then they end up in some weird wasteland. Where they promptly turn into ghouls too. That's how our movie ends. Alright, let's talk about this movie, The Beyond. Coming to you from my car here in chilly Wisconsin. Winter is finally upon us. There's a chill in the air. But anyway, I'm hot because I just watched this movie. It's called The Beyond. And I had this movie on a VHS tape back in the 80s, EP Speed. It was all under that title, or it was under the title 7 Doors of Death. It's a movie that I used to see a trailer for at the end of other movies that I would rent all the time. I had seen this trailer over and over and over and over again. Finally tracked down the movie at some point, maybe 1989 or so, copied it, didn't even watch it. I watched it several years later, and I think I watched it a second time also, and I think the third time I watched this movie was today. And what do I think of it? You know, I actually don't think a whole heck of a lot of it. It's directed by Lucio Fulci, and it takes place in Louisiana, 1927 originally, and then 1981 as we get the later on. And it's about a hotel that was built over one of the 7 gateways to hell. Now, I read some criticism of this movie online because they said a lot of it really doesn't make sense. I can't argue that a whole heck of a lot. I mean, what we have in this movie is there's a lot of good gore scenes in this movie. There's a couple of eyeballs that get gouged. There's blood. There's all kinds of blood. There's dog biting and just blood. It is very, very gory film, but the plot itself seemed all over the place. I didn't know exactly what was going on. Again, we had this gateway to hell that's over this hotel, and some corpses are coming back to life, and there's strange things happening, like people are falling and dying, and tarantulas were eating this guy's face at one point, which was a really brutal, cool scene too. The guy wasn't dead, actually. He was paralyzed from falling, so of course, if he's paralyzed, does he even feel the tarantula's eating him? I don't know. But nonetheless, it's horrible. But it's a horrible way to go. But yeah, most of this film, it was just kind of hard to follow. I couldn't quite get into it. It's basically, it's kind of like when I'm watching one of those ridiculous titty movies from the 70s. It's like there's very little plot to get in the way of the sex scenes. That's kind of what it was here, except instead of sex scenes, we get gore. In fact, we didn't even have any nudity in this movie, but there was a ton of gore, and that kind of kept it going for me. So I enjoyed it on that level. The gore scenes are really fantastic in this movie. I loved that a lot. But overall, the plot-wise, it was just kind of hard to follow. There were zombies going around, and then at the end, the woman and the guy, they go through a door at the hospital. They end up in their basement of the hotel again, and the next thing you know, they're like in some weird wasteland, like where Phantasm took place in that other world, and then they're like part of the painting that the guy was painting at the beginning of the movie. I don't know, just all over the board, kind of weird. But anyway, it is entertaining enough that will keep you going because of all the gore. So great stuff there. My thanks to Mark down in Georgia for giving me this. Again, I actually had this on 2 DVDs already. I had it as 7 Doors of Death, a cheap DVD. And then I actually had it as The Beyond. Now I got that in this double one here with the Lucio Fulci Collection Volume 1 with House by the Cemetery, which I'm going to watch next. I'm really looking forward to that one too. So anyway, check it out. It's called The Beyond. I'm sure a lot of you have seen this thing. And let me know what you think about it. Leave some comments down below. Bye.